looky here. Look what YouTuber Goober has found on the internet. It is an AI image generator. A free one, to be exact. It was just no login, nothing. It was just completely free. I have no clue how I just randomly found this thing, but it sure is a really interesting program, and I want to show you all this program right now and the things it can do. And let's see if it can make accurate images based on my prompts or it messes up. So first up, we're going to be putting in Downtown City Street, and let's see if it creates an image of Downtown City Street. Let's press generate. And as you can see, it's generating the 4 images. We're going to see all 4 of them at the same time and compare them to each other. This is going to be fun. Also, maybe a bit frustrating if they do some mistakes here. Alright, we have our first image here. Looks decent. I know they tried to... Looks like those are giant street signs there. I don't know what those are. Alright, this is another one they have down here, which also looks decent a bit. I can't tell really if this is a pedestrian sidewalk that just leads into a road or something. I don't know. Oh, here's another one that popped up over here, which is, looks more like a smaller town. I did put downtown. I don't know if they're talking about small town or a large city or something. And we have our 4th one right here. So let's compare them all and see which one's probably the most accurate and which one is the least accurate. So as we can see, number 1, the first one that generated, we have a series of buildings which look like casual buildings you would see in a decent sized town, I would say. You can see the design of this building. It has some sort of little decoration up here, but then it's just flat over here, which looks like it could be 2 separate buildings, but it's actually all connected in this photo, as you can see. This little sign hanging from the building, you can't read what it says, but they don't put any words in it unless you tell it to put words in it, so I kinda get that a bit, but instead they just replace the letters with like these squiggly little random stuff. And look at these huge street signs right here, what I mentioned before. This looks like one of those signs that you see that's supposed to show a new street or something, like this is another street, and there's clearly no street that leads that direction, and there's still a super tall one that reaches like the 2nd story window, and what is that sign behind it? I can't tell if that's a street sign or not. Other than that, then, everything else looks fine, except for that car, which I can't tell if that car parking on the curb, and it's on one of the lanes. Looks like, as you can barely see here, it's divided into 2 lanes. It's parked in the middle of a lane, unless this is the parking lane. That could be the case, but it doesn't look like a parking lane with the dotted lines, which are kind of hard to see. They looks like they tried to purposely make these hard to see. Anyway, for our image down here we have, this looks kind of casual, to be honest. We do have a few issues, though, with door sizes, I would say. You could see these doors right here. These are clearly doors. And you could see this is a door too, and this is a door too. So they have 3 different sides of doors. Well, to be exact, this door right here and this door right here look both the exact same size. But this door right here looks way smaller. Is that supposed to be some sort of children's door or something? I can't tell, well, but still, who would want to... Look, directly there's a smaller window. I don't know why the window just happened. The small window happens to be above the baby door. Like, and this is a thin window or something. So those are already some mistakes I figure out here. The street, I can't tell, how are those cars parked? Like, they look like they're just packed in this one location. And isn't there, like, a street or something here? I can't really tell. It's really hard to... This building right here looks like it's been taken... The quality of the building looks like it's either really bad quality created in AI, which I assume, or it's been literally just been taken out of Google Maps. You know, when you go onto Google Maps, when you go into 3D mode, the buildings, when you see the buildings in 3D, they don't look like hyper realistic, you know what I mean? Because they're still just models on the computer, 3D models with textures on it, using satellite textures to create the images of these buildings, this looks like one of those Google Maps buildings. Other than that, everything seems fine. I think you can kind of get away with this, as you can get away with it if you showed this casually somewhere as a downtown street, as long as you're not showing the small doors or something. Our image over here, as we can see, this one looks probably, this is way more, accurate, I would say. It looks like they're trying to put some sort of, like, you know, those school zone things on the, edge of the road, it looks like, which is interesting. And they have, the buildings look fine. I could see, looks like you could tell that it's all created by AI, plus this perfect tree trunk, which looks like the texture on here is just perfect in every way. And, yeah, and the road, isn't that red line supposed to be like a no parking line or something at the edge of the road or something? So there can't be any parking here, but at the same time, there's also another red thing here, and there's cars parking. That car looked like it's parking. It's not fully in the middle part of the lane. You can see it has some gap in between the main lane, and if you compare it to these vehicles, which looks like they're supposed to be parked, but they're also on the, I think the AI is getting confused between cars that are parked and cars that are actually driving. So this one right here, I don't see many mistakes, besides these trees are planted real close to the road. Probably a bit too close for, like, if they grow too much, they could eventually interfere, and they would probably need to be cut back. Like, I've never seen trees that close to the road before. Does that look like, if I'm not mistaken, that looks like a fallen branch or something that's fallen right in front of the car that's parked right here? Yeah, and, this restaurant here looks, I don't even know if it's a restaurant, just this building, whatever, has a sign where you can barely see the words, because again, they don't want to show the words. Is this supposed to be like a traffic light or something? To me, it looks like a traffic light, but it's really hard. Like, when I look at this closely, it just looks like these black rectangles on a post or something. They look almost like traffic lights or something. This is really confusing or stuff. One theory I have about this program is that they take real images and they combine them together to make unique images, which looks like is actually a really high possibility. Alright, so we spent like 7 minutes looking at that. Let's look at another thing. So, downtown city street. Let's do something else that's slightly more silly. So, let's replace this with, how about an airplane driving down a street? Wouldn't this be funny? So let me paste it here. An airplane driving down a street. Let's click generate. Let's see what it does. This is going to be hilarious. I could already tell. I could already tell that this is going to be hilarious. Let's zoom into the 4 photos. Let's see what they put. Now they're loading. It takes time to load because, of course, it's processing by AI. What is this? Explain what this is. What is this? Is this gonna, like, crash into some cars or something? And isn't this, like, wait, okay, this is, I can't even tell what this is. This feels, alright, is this like a plane vehicle or this like a plane car, I don't know. I need the 4th image to be generated. Alright, the 4th image probably the most realistic looking, but still has a few problems. Alright, let's go through all the images. The first image that generated was this one, which is probably the most laughable one of all. Look, it's like going down this 2-lane road, and you can clearly see there are cars here that are gonna get hit by the plane, but the plane is insanely small compared to the road. Or is it just that the road just happens to be, like, huge or something? It's like part of Giant Land or something. I don't know. But these cars are quite large for the plane. Or the plane is quite small compared to the cars. Like, unless it was like a super tiny plane. But still, this looks like, this is just hilarious, man. Like, this literally is the size of like, this is a 2-lane road. And if a plane could clearly fit, if at least the cabin of the plane could fit very perfectly onto one of the lanes. There is a big problem. There is a big problem. So this probably wins as the funniest picture here. All right, we have another image down here. I really can't wait to get to it. Well, let's go to this one first. What in the world is this? What in the world? Explain to me. Is this an airplane, or is this like a two-sided airplane? Looks like you could see the nose of the plane here, some sort of like windows or thing here. But this also looks like the front window with aerodynamic stuff here. Looks like the plane's supposed to be facing looks like it's supposed to be facing left, but for some reason it has a window facing right. I don't know if that's a back-facing window. This vehicle looks like a mix of a minivan with an ambulance or something. I don't know why. Isn't that wheel connected to the plane or something? No, that wheel's part of the minivan slash ambulance, whatever that thing is behind the vehicle. And you could see the plane is driving on the road. Now, I have to say the size is quite more realistic, luckily. Other than this one, as you can see, based on the cars and the size of the street, you can tell, this road, I can't tell, looks like it has like two lanes, two one-way lanes on this side, but at the same time has a solid white line on this side, which means it's only one lane. But this plane just looks like it's just something that doesn't exist in the real world, because it doesn't exist. A two-sided plane, you can, like, choose what direction to fly. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, it's just hilarious. Alright, this is probably the most hilarious, okay, I don't know which one should be more hilarious, this one or this. Well, these three probably rank all three as the most hilarious ones in this entire video. But this plane right here, you can see its wings somehow move downward and turn into, like, the wheels out on the road. Aren't the wings supposed to be connected on, like, this part of the plane instead of just on this part? Looks like they built this. Looks like a thing that you would see, like, some sort of, like, experimental group build. You know, like those experimental aircraft companies that build, like, new types of vehicles and stuff. It's like, oh, look, we came up with this brand new idea called a car plane with wings that are, like, at wheel level. Just at wheel level, like, at the level of the wheels. Just imagine the problems that would cause driving on the road. Now, the size here does look way more realistic, I would say, since it's a small plane, as you can see, with the windows and the cockpit windows size and everything. So it looks like a smaller plane, and the size looks decent, but the wings are real small for the plane. I don't know how this thing will take off the ground. And also, I have another question. Where are the engines, or where are the propellers? Like, come on, where are the engines? Show me. Where are the engines? Where are the engines here? I can't tell what this is. Is this like a small piece of a propeller that hasn't been fully assembled yet? Are the engines hiding at the edge of this back wingtip? That would be very unlikely, because then it'll make the plane really unstable. But anyway, that was interesting to see. What is this right here? This is probably the most realistic looking. It looks a lot like a plane, although the propeller is... What in the world is that supposed to be? Like a bent propeller or something? So this still has some mistakes here. It looks like there's like a slightly wider window down here, but the size, the street it's on, there's like a warehouse in the background or something. This one looks probably the most realistic, and I have to say this one probably wins with the most realistic looking and most realistic look. It actually looks like a plane on some sort of street, although it could easily be a runway, but I have to say, this one probably... I don't know. All of these three have to be the funniest ones. So, yeah, those are the funniest ones. Now, I could continue. We've done two rounds of this, and the video has been going on for 14 minutes, so I'm going to stop it there. And if you want to see more of this, you can watch... another part 2 of this video. I'm going to create a part 2, and we're going to have hopefully way more hilarious stuff coming up, so please stay tuned for that video when it comes up, and please don't forget to subscribe to YouTuber Gooba if you want more silly videos like this. So, don't forget to do that, and I'll see you all in the next video.